I can really suck at ziplining. I signed up for the Gibbon Experience in Laos to have an experience, not to actually feel like a gibbon. This ziplining needs work. So I love Luang Prabang, Laos. I love the monastic community, the French colonial architecture. It's really a jewel of Southeast Asia.
Hello.
And it's also close enough where you can take a trip out to see the world-famous Gibbon Experience out of Huay Xai, Laos. You can take a boat ride there. Just remember, you're going to be on that boat with these people for 2 days. Or if you're not into that, you can take a bus from LP to Huay Xai, where you start the Gibbon Experience, and it's about a 13-hour ride. The reason why I wanted to do the Gibbon Experience was the fact that, yeah, there's some ziplining there, but it's not necessarily the focus of the whole adventure. Really, it's all about living in the same space as these wild gibbon, being in treehouses and being surrounded by this incredible forest or jungle is just a one-of-a-kind experience. Probably a good idea to book your trip ahead of time, but once you get to Huay Xai, whether it's by boat or bus, just make sure you head to the Gibbon Experience office and pick your 2 or 3 day adventure. I chose the 3 day adventure, which I was really happy with, so that's 2 nights in the tree houses, which is pretty cool. But I had to wait a day before my adventure started, so I was lucky enough to get invited to a traditional Laos wedding, which basically is a 10-minute ceremony and 14 hours of drinking and dancing. So the next day we cram into these trucks and we do about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive out to the park, where we start walking. For about an hour before we got to where we get some ziplining instruction, get our equipment. And watch our hot dog guides show us how it's done. And then some of us were pretty good right from the beginning.
Now, the first couple of zip lines I did went pretty well. Knowing when to brake really helps. Brake too soon and you'll be using your arms to finish the line, which can get pretty tiring and frustrating, trust me.
I just broke a little bit too soon.
Traveling over the canopy of the forest and ziplining through carved paths of trees was a completely exhilarating experience. Not as intense, but still extremely breathtaking, was the 360-degree views from our treehouse we stayed in for 2 nights. These are some of the highest tree houses in the world, a perfect spot for viewing and listening to the gibbon. The next morning did not disappoint, with an early wake-up concert courtesy of the Nam Can Park Gibbons. Studies have shown gibbons use their vocal cords much the same way as soprano opera singers do, in order to communicate with neighbors, as a bonding exercise, and for looking for a mate. After breakfast, we got out on the zip lines for a day of exploring the forest. Leopards, Asian black bears, macaques, and many more species live there, but you'll be very lucky if you see any of them, as these animals are quite shy and accustomed to hunting in Southeast Asia. I imagine the sound of us whizzing through the air on the zip lines doesn't help much either. The lines up to the tree houses, depending on which one, are some of the shortest, but there are at least a couple of lines over 500 meters long. That's half a kilometer. Like this one, where I didn't get quite enough momentum to make it all the way to the end. My arms actually got quite a workout, making me feel like a friggin' ape after that zip line. I was so desperate to make it all the way without pulling myself in on one of my last zip lines, so I cranked it up, and it felt like I got a pretty good launch.
Here comes Johnny.
I got one of my treehouse roommates to capture me coming in at the other end.
He's coming in with a bit of speed. Nice. Woo-hoo.
I didn't make it, John.
Good one, John.
The Gibbon Experience in Laos, definitely down as one of my favorite adventures in Southeast Asia.
Hey, thanks a lot for watching the video. If you enjoyed that, would you please give me a thumbs up? There's more videos to check out from East Asia, Southeast Asia, or South Asia, so subscribe to the channel now. Also, you can support my YouTube channel by becoming a patron. Patrons get exclusive content. That's right, stuff that nobody else sees on my Patreon page. So if you want to check that out, just hit that Patreon button right now, follow the link, and check out my Patreon page for all the offers. Till next time, this is John Sabot. Thanks so much. Safe travels. See you soon.